Welcome back to another episode of Rhinestones and Rants. My name is Alyssa Better, your host, and today's episode is one you do not want to miss, especially if you're a dance mom, a dancer, or staring down graduation, or a 20-something-year-old still trying to figure out how to make up for all of those years training actually means something. My guest today is the ultimate dance world chameleon, Menina Fortunato. She has lived it all. Dancer, choreographer, dance mom, podcaster, mentor, studio kid, you name it. But what she's doing now is revolutionizing what comes after trophies and tiaras. From her groundbreaking Business of Dance mentorship program to the legendary Hollywood Summer Tour, Menina is giving dancers the career education they never got in the studio. So whether you are wondering how to get an agent, create a demo, reel, or build your brand, manage your taxes, or navigate the industry as an international dancer, this episode is packed with tools dancers actually need to succeed. So sit back, relax, get your notebook ready, subscribe, share the love, and let's sashay into it. Welcome to Rhinestones and Rants, where the glitz of the dance world meets the real talk of industry and a dance mom who lived it every day. This podcast isn't just about perfect pirouettes and dazzling costumes. It's about the raw, unfiltered journey of raising dancers, navigating the competitive scene, and balancing the chaos of life beyond the studio. So grab your coffee or wine, adjust that messy bun, and join me and special guests for a little bit of rhinestone-covered realness. Click that like button below, subscribe, and let's get into it. So welcome to Rhinestones and Rants, Menina. I am so excited to have you here with us today.
Thank you for having me, and I had to wear my rhinestones to match your podcast name.
I have to say, I'm like laughing because when we first launched, I had done it was a hangout, not like a launch party, because when I do that, the people that know me know I go full out or go home. And I was like, okay, I'm not ready for this. I was so busy. And I had 20 people come to this little kickoff, and they all showed up bedecked in rhinestones. And there I was the only person not. And I appreciate you so much, because if you can see her, everyone, I mean, she is bedecked with
sparkles, I'm bedazzled.
She's got feathers, she's got rhinestones and the earrings. I mean, totally bringing it.
It's all for you.
I feel very special, so thank you. The way we met is just a really interesting story, and I kind of want to share that because it tells the meaning of when one door opens, how one door closes, another door opens. And it's amazing because I belong to all these Facebook pages. And when I was doing this show, I was like, oh, thank goodness, because there's all of these dance Facebook pages, college dance Facebook pages, dancing your way to a career. There's just a lot of different Facebook pages. And one of them, they only had maybe 1,500 followers. It wasn't a lot. But the whole point of this show is if I only knew then what I know now, and a lot of these parents like myself, we are members of this page because we're trying to learn. We're trying to understand how to navigate our dancers through this crazy web of artistry, basically.
Yeah.
And I was all excited. My first episode or second episode came out, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to put it on that page and say, if any of you are interested, I just launched this great, podcast. And the owners of that site, which will remain nameless because they only have 1,500 followers anyway, but they will remain nameless. They were so mean. They were terrible. And the talk about never dull your sparkle. These people dulled my sparkle. I literally got upset, and I don't even know why I was upset.
No promotion.
No, they were no self-promotion. It's I'm not self-promoting. I'm trying to help your parents who are trying to literally understand, right? So the girl that I work with, Anne, she's fabulous, and she literally says, okay, no worries. We're gonna go out there and we're gonna find a better page. And somehow through our investigating, we find your incredible page. And you have all these followers, and you've done all these great interviews, and you have this tour thing that you do in Hollywood, and then you educate dancers. And I'm like, oh my God, this woman is impressive. So to everybody listening, that is kind of how we met. And I would love, she had me at hello, just to be clear. But when we did get on, hello. I mean, the second you got on the phone, I was just blown away. And, I am the epitome of I am woman, hear me roar. And I love to see successful women in business specifically and you have done such an incredible job. And
Thank you.
it's not easy to impress me. People that know me know that. And I was really impressed. I was like, wow. Like all I kept saying was wow. So that's a lot coming from me. And I know that you don't know me well enough, but
Yeah.
you are impressive. So I think best to start in just kind of giving, everybody a little bit of your background and give them the wow moment that blew me away. So all you.
Well, the backstory, I started dancing at my father's dance studio as a kid. He was my first dance teacher. He owned 2 dance studios. Then my mother started a dance competition over 30 years ago. I was 13 at the time. So I grew up in the dance business. My parents both being in the business. I was not only training, but I was also teaching by the time I was 12 at my father's dance studio, making $40 an hour well over 30 years ago, which was a lot of money.
A lot of money. I mean, I don't
know,
even know if some
my-
dance teachers still make that now. So
My friends were making $4 an hour babysitting, and I was making $40 an hour. So I was monetizing my passion at a very early age. I did the whole comp kid thing, I think about 15, 16, and that's when I kind of retired my competition shoes and went into the teaching lane. So I was teaching at other studios by the time I was 16. I was at 5 different studios, 5 days a week, going to school, doing all the things. My first paid dance job was when I was 16, and this was all in Vancouver, where I'm from originally. And then I got a scholarship to the Edge Performing Arts Center, which unfortunately is no longer around, but any OGs know the studio, to come train in LA for a week. And I did, and that was my first introduction to Hollywood. And I remember telling my mom, this is where I want to be. This is where I want to move. This is where I want to create a career. And, she was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Thought that was cute and brushed it off. But I was really serious. And every summer I kept coming back. It was 1 week, then it was 2 weeks, then it was a month, then it was 2 months. And then I finally made the move. But prior to the move, I've dealt with an obstacle. I'm Canadian, and you can't work in the US without a work visa. So one summer when I was visiting, I met a dancer at the Edge who was telling me about how they're working on an application for an immigration visa. And I was like, well, who's your attorney? And so at 18 years old, I'm sitting in this attorney's office.
Amazing.
I don't know anything about immigration at this point. And I'm just hungry. I'm like, please tell me, how do I do this? What do I need? He gave me all the options, all the things I needed to do. I spent a year preparing all my marketing materials. During that time, I also got signed to my first dance agent. And I also had a sponsor. I have to give a shout out to Brighton McClure. He was my sponsor. He was on this TV show Family Matters. I don't know
Yes,
if you remember.
I do. Actually, my favorite TV. When I was younger, I was part of the lineup that I would beg my mother, and she would actually threaten to punish me if I did something. I wasn't allowed to watch the lineup of shows, and that was one of the shows. So yes,
That's
I do
funny.
remember. It's so funny.
So he was little Richie on the show, little 5-year-old,
Okay.
6-year-old kid that used to do Michael Jackson impersonation. So he had a 3-year record contract with Universal Polydor. So he, in conjunction with Universal, were my petitioners, were my sponsors, which was huge.
Not bad.
So
How did you manage to get them?
my friend who was choreographing for them, he brought me on as an assistant. I told them my situation. I said, I want to be able to move to the U.S., blah, 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 and work here. And they're like, well, what do you need? And I'm like, I need a sponsor. And I'm like, well, can we help? So, and then him, and it was more so his parents, because he was still a teenager at the time. So he and his parents, along with Universal, that worked out. And I also had the agent that also was ready to, lined up. So at the age of 20, first of all, I asked my parents, I'm like, can I have $2,000 to pay this immigration attorney? They're like, are you nuts? Are you crazy? Because my dance teacher at the time, who had some big credits dancing for Backstreet Boys and Prince, applied and got denied. And I didn't have those kind of credits yet. So like, well, if she can't get it, then there's no way you can get it. But I had a one-track mind. I was very determined to make it happen. And I didn't tell my parents. I had my teaching money. I set that aside, and I paid the immigration attorney. I spent a year working quietly. And then on Christmas morning, I said, Mom, Dad, I'm moving to California. And they were like, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, I got my work visa. I have an agent. And I'm going to finish my year of teaching, and I'm going to go to LA. And that was when finally they were like, oh, okay, I guess this is real for you. This is something you really want. So at the age of 20, I finally made the move into an apartment that I'd never seen until the day I moved in North Hollywood.
How was it?
It was actually, coming from suburbia, it was definitely a downgrade. But, I was prepared and ready to work work my way at the bottom. My rent was $375 a month.
Oh my goodness!
Can't even get a closet for that anymore.
No, or a towel rack.
And then I moved in with a roommate that I'd never met until the day I moved in, who turned out to be lovely. So I was lucky in that regard. So I hit the ground running. I had a $5,000 saved, which back then was, a lot of hard-earned money. And, I started auditioning right away. My first job, actually, rewind. Before the actual move, I was visiting in May, and I auditioned for the Christina Milian tour. And Brian Friedman was actually the choreographer.
Crazy. We just had him on like a few
for
weeks
that
ago.
audition.
Yep.
Now, production changed their mind. They hired a different choreographer. They booked me, and I needed to be in rehearsal like a couple days later. But when they booked me, I was already back in Canada because I was just visiting for like a week. I had my work visa at the time, but I went back home, and my agent was like, they need you in rehearsals on Monday, let's just say. And so I dropped all my teaching commitments, found replacements, all the things, packed my life. And I was like, I'm going on tour with Christina Milian, who's opening for NSYNC at the time, which were
So
huge.
phenomenal.
I thought I was like, this is my
Like the
big break.
Like you're
This is-
famous now.
I'm like, this is going to be life changing. I come to LA, Millennium, the Dome, which is no longer around, but the Dome. I show up, and they're like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm here for rehearsals. Oh, well, we replaced you because we were told that you were in Canada. I was like, well, I was, but I came down here for this. Well, I'm sorry, you've been replaced. And I was like trying to hold it together and not crying.
Devastated.
I was devastated inside. I'm like, can I just stay to learn the choreography since I'm here? And they, the choreographer Showtime, he allowed me to stay and learn AM to PM, the routine. And I just was crushed. So I had tail between my legs, went back home, asked for my jobs back. I'm like, can I just finish out the year for 2 more months? So my first booking was a flop, rejection. I was fired before I was even on the job.
But glass half full, you did still get the job, right? And I think that
I got the booking. I didn't do the job, unfortunately.
But you got to learn the choreo, and not a lot of people can even say that, right?
Fair enough. But everything happens for a reason. And looking
Okay.
back, it was actually a blessing in disguise. So if I had done that job, I would not have attended the Britney Spears tours auditions, which Brian was also a part of.
Was that the Slave for You one or a different one?
That was that same album.
Okay,
Yes, it was
okay.
that same album. It was like 2 days, hundreds of dancers. I was new kid on the block. Brian had already seen me from Christina Milian, so he had my eye on me. And I made it to the final cut. I did not book the tour, but because of that audition, then I ended up booking a Pepsi campaign, the Super Bowl. And I made a heck of a lot more money
A
doing
lot
that
more money.
than the tour. So looking back, I was like, you know what? It wasn't meant for me, and that's okay. And that was a great learning lesson too for me that, you're gonna have to deal with rejection, and I dealt with it like right out of the gate. But prior to the Britney gig, I also had a direct booking with Paula Abdul, who was my teen idol at the time. So that was my introduction to LA.
But I also think that people always say, give me signs like I'm doing the right thing, I'm in the right direction. And for anybody listening, this is an amazing success story, right? This just doesn't happen for everybody, and people are really good and they try so hard to book jobs and they don't, and it doesn't mean that they're not good. You had it, you had every signal and sign showing you were on the right path. Because even though you may not have you booked that first one, but you didn't book it because they replaced you, it was a sign. Then, another door opened and you go and you audition for that, and people had their eyes. And it's like, I always say, even if you get rejected, think about all the new people that now have eyes on you.
Yeah,
right? Because you're making these connections. I mean, my daughter is in acting, and literally sometimes she'll be like, I don't want to go out on the audition. I'm like, I don't think you should. You're not going to
go anyways.
Go anyway.
Go anyways. Even if you expect,
Totally.
and it's the ones that you don't expect anything. My first tour was Earth, Wind, and Fire. That was that kind of audition. They're looking for one girl. There's over hundreds of beautiful women that show up to this audition, and I'm looking around like, there's no way I'm going to be that one girl. So I'm like, yeah, it's a free class. I had no expectations, and they kept making cuts, and they kept making cuts, and then we're down to the last 3, and I'm like, oh my God,
this could happen.
This could actually be a real thing. And I ended up booking Earth, Wind, and Fire tour. But
even add on to that, I tell her to go because the truth is, even if she doesn't get that part, they remember.
That part, and also other people in the room see you. That happened to me with a Luke Bryan audition. A Luke Bryan job where I was at another audition. I didn't get that one, but the choreographer was there as a dancer auditioning. And while I was at the audition, she's like, "Are you available from this date for this country singer called Luke Bryan?" I didn't know who he was at the time. It was the "Shake It For Me" music video.
He was probably coming up.
He was, I think, a newer, but that was one of his big hits. And it was because I was in that room. I always say, get in the room, make one new contact, and learn one new thing, because you just never know what door can open up from that. So nothing may result instantaneously. You may not get a return ROI in the moment, but the seed that you plant in that moment could open doors and lead to other great things. So rewinding back, so fast forward, I had a good 10-year run as a professional dancer, working with Britney Spears, Beyonce, Earth, Wind and Fire, ZZ Top, Carmen Electra, Paul Abdul, MC Hammer, Luke Bryan, Maluma, Carrie Underwood, all the things. And then I got pregnant with my first baby while I was engaged to my now husband. And that shook me up. You know, that was, I was on tour with Nuclear Cowboys, a big motocross show. And they released me from the tour once my little baby bump started to show around 4.5 months. And I was devastated at the time because I was like, well, what am I going to do? Like, all I know is dance. So I created a whole prenatal dance workout. It's on Amazon. I was like, I just want to dance and stay in shape.
Yeah,
So
she's not an entrepreneur by any chance, right? Like she's lazy, you can tell. Go on.
So I'm like, what can I do to make money? And I didn't make much money, if anything at all, on that particular project. But I dealt with and as a mother, anyone that's listening as a mother could understand that there's a part of you that dies and another part of you that's born when you become a mom. So I tried to go back to the audition life, and it was really hard. I was like breastfeeding my kid, you know, in the car while my husband was in the car, and then I'm due to the audition, and then I'm leaking milk in the audition or engorge, and then trying to go back, and then my mind is elsewhere, or having to find babysitters. I'm like, this life is just
doesn't work with your new life.
It's not working for this new lifestyle. So I started to pivot more into working on the production side, and that's where I had the opportunity to work with Brian again on the America's Got Talent and on the X Factor on the creative team. So I was.
How did you break into that though? Like you just said, okay, I'm going to go work on the production side, but for people listening,
how did I do that?
Yeah,
there's a strategy. So I reached out to Brian, and I got the call for the dance audition, and I was like, you know, I really don't want to audition as a dancer right now. So I just volunteered. I'm like, can I help you with the casting process? You don't have to pay me anything. I just want to help out and show you my worth. And if there's a synergy, maybe something can come out of it. But I had zero expectations. I'm there to show up because he's never seen me, excuse me, work on that level.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been producing dance events for years and years and years already. So production was nothing new to me. Maybe that type of production might have been different. My first TV producing, casting kind of experience. But long story short, I did a good job, and he brought me on. He had to do big nationals, and he wasn't able to do one episode. So I worked with him and Tiana, who was his assistant at the time, to produce the one particular episode while he was away at nationals. So I did one episode. He ended up bringing me on as a dancer anyways for one episode.
Phenomenal.
So I got to be a dancer and associate consulting producer. And then I did the same thing for the X Factor as well. I didn't dance, but I worked as an associate choreographer for one episode as well. And that kind of lit a fire on the production side. I was like, ooh, I want to explore this. So my husband and I have produced so many projects at Universal Studios, at Paramount Studios, and then just producing my dance events, which the Hollywood Summer Tour, that brings me to that. I started that in 2006. So we just celebrated our 19th year.
Incredible. So
we're going
why
on
don't you
20th.
explain to everybody what that is, right?
Totally.
So this Hollywood Summer Tour, I actually just learned about. I didn't even know about it, but maybe because I live in LA. So when I look at summer programs, it was either we were doing dance nationals, or now you're starting to see a lot more choreographers that are coming up with like these week-long things. Jackie Royale, Brian's doing something, Talia does something. Like everybody kind of like the big choreographers, they've started to create these programs during the summer because the regionals are over, the nationals are over, and they're Guy Groove is doing something. Like a lot of them are pulling up, which is great because it gives dancers who they're done with kind of their studio dance until the new season starts ways to keep training.
Yeah.
So you come up with this. So let's pull it back a little bit just to understand
how that all evolved.
Right.
So 2006 was about the height of my dance career. And naturally, I was getting a lot of Canadians that were asking me, how did you get a visa? Who was your agent? How do you get an agent? What's a good photographer to shoot with? So I was organically just helping dancers. And then someone then was like, you should like teach this stuff and actually create a program to educate dancers on this stuff. So on a whim, I decided, my parents, 5, 6, 7, 8 Showtime competitions, I recruited from them the first year. So I was selected.
Wait, so 5, 6, 7, 8, you went really fast with that. So what is that?
That's my mother's dance competition that she started 30 years ago in Canada.
Okay, and it's in Canada.
Yeah,
and it's a
been
Canadian dance competition.
Yes, they do a couple cities in the U.S., Alaska, and they used to do Washington State.
And she still has that.
That's still running. And my brother is now the director of that.
Fantastic. So full artistic family.
So that's how it started. I was scouting dancers at these regional events. I was inviting them to the Hollywood Summer Tour. They got to experience a week. Now, my goal with it initially was to give dancers an introduction of the commercial dance industry in LA. So they take classes at all the major studios. I like to say we studio hop. We have a motor coach bus where we take them from place to place so they can experience the T Millie and Millennium and Playground, 88 Studios and Movement Lifestyle and all these, incredible studios.
You know what's so funny about that is I had Anne-Marie Hudson on the show, owner and
just saw her last week.
Okay,
and
so
chatted.
owner and CEO of Millennium, and I was telling her like that red wall that she has that says Millennium and like all the words on it. I was saying to her how I remember in the summertime going there and my daughter taking classes and tour buses. Millennium's become such a thing that tour buses would actually pull up and all these kids would like
unload.
And some of them, they were only unloading to take a picture in front of the red wall for their social media. They weren't coming there to
take
dance.
Class.
It's part of like there's a Hollywood tour.
Okay, like a touristy thing.
Like a touristy thing that you sign up.
That's
and
funny.
Playground is one of the places. Millennium is another place.
So it's like a landmark.
And so when she was on, she said, oh, last week we had 20 buses pull up. They actually pull up to take a picture in front of the red wall. Then there's a lot of the international students that come in from Japan, from China, and they're here in the summer just to train. So when you say you made me think of that because when you said your tour bus pulled up, like your coach bus that you have to take them around, you're one of those buses. But
yes, I am. I'm probably one of the first that started going to Millennium doing this because at the time it was completely groundbreaking. Nobody was doing this. So we studio hop. We take them to the classes. We also do private group classes with guest choreographers. We do agency showcases. To my knowledge, I think we're the only intensive that actually brings in Block, MSA, GTA, and CTG in one room in an intimate setting.
Incredible.
So it's an invitation-only program, so we keep it small and intimate. It's not like a big convention with hundreds of kids where you're fighting to be seen. And we don't do it in a hotel ballroom, even though we have a hotel that's where we start and end our days. We're not in the hotel much at all. We're in the studios. But on top of that, we do educational seminars. Some years we do nutrition. Sometimes we do immigration. Sometimes we do finances. I always teach one on the business of dance to teach about marketing. And then we do a music video shoot as well. So just last week, we shot a video at Universal Studios City Walk. We rented City Walk, night shoot. The whole thing shut down just for us in the exact same location as where Chris Brown shot his Loyal music video. And Alyssa Better, who's a huge dance influencer with like 25 million followers, also Canadian, was the artist that we collaborated with, and we gave our dancers the opportunity of being a part of a real professional set.
So they get a credit.
They get a line on their resume. They get a credit, and then they get footage.
Phenomenal.
That really high quality footage, and then to be able to put someone like Alyssa or Universal on their resume is, nobody to my awareness has ever done this in the dance education space.
No, the only people that do it, like they're not to that level, but like Velocity, for example, the convention that they have every year at their nationals, they have a very big celebrity come, like a celebrity who's hot at the moment.
Yeah.
And then there's a closing show, and every one of the people that are going for their MVA, like their most valuable artist, maximum velocity artist, you get a credit. So for years, my daughter was one of those people, and she would dance in the closing show, and they would get a credit. But to your point, is there any kind of program that you can go?
I don't know anybody that
I
shut
know
down
nobody shuts down.
Universal. We've been doing this since the Universal relationship started in 2015. We've shot at Jurassic Park area. We shot at Minions. We shot at the City Walk stage, and then and we do these night shoots where the park is shut down. It's just us. Even professional dancers don't even get that opportunity.
I know everybody's going to want to know your secret sauce, but I don't even know if you should share the secret sauce on
relationships, connections, contacts equals contracts.
Right, and it contacts equal contracts. That's actually perfectly said, because it's always keeping your network. The same thing we go back to. Show up at the audition. Know who you speak to. Send the thank you note. No different than, you booking guests for your podcast. Or for me, it's like a lot of these guests come from contacts that you have and word of mouth. And I think in the dance world specifically, people like to work with people that they know 100%. To become one of those people, right?
100%. So, in addition to that, we also mix it up with some sightseeing as well. So we make it like a vacation for the families. We take them to Disneyland, Santa Monica Beach, Beverly Hills, Hollywood and Highland. So they get dance education, a little Hollywood glam, a little professional industry experience with a vacation all wrapped into one. 1 week or 2 weeks. They have the option of either or. And that was my first, I like to say my first baby that I started in 2006. However, 2020 happened. 2020 was a real pivotal time, I think, for the entire dance industry as a whole. But suddenly I wasn't able to produce dance events anymore. Suddenly I wasn't able to teach in person. I wasn't able to judge competitions. I wasn't able to teach conventions. Everything that I've ever known, I suddenly couldn't do. I also had baby number 3 in 2020 of April.
I cannot believe you had 3 babies. I mean, if you look at this woman, 3 babies. How old are they? Can I have her ages?
Yeah, 5, 10, and 14. Almost 15. By the time this airs, it'll be 15. So 5 years apart. Every 5 years, for some reason, 2015 to 2020. 2010, 2015.
So if you meet her husband, nobody stands in front of him within a 5-year window. But go on.
And we're already at our next 5-year mark, and people are like, "Oh, so when's the next one?" I'm like,
Oh
"No,
my
I'm
goodness.
done. I'm done.
Kitchen closed.
Kitchen closed, out of order." So yeah, 2020 was a really, really tough time for me. So I'm dealing with baby number 3 at home. I was prepared to be home for 2 weeks. 2 months, totally fine, but not 2 years. And
I don't think the world was ready to be
no,
closed
I
down
was
for 2
not.
years.
I wasn't ready financially to be off work for 2 years. I wasn't mentally, emotionally, like it was just a lot to deal with. You know, I did the whole Zoom dance class thing, which honestly I did not enjoy. With a crying baby at my arm, I was even teaching mom dance fitness program classes, barely making $500 a month at this stage. So I went from having a very successful business to zero pretty much overnight, and then scrambling trying to figure out, well, how I'm stuck at home. What can I do? And these mom dance classes were just not working for me. And then I finally was able to go back to the Hollywood Summer Tour in 2022. That was my first in-person event. And the business of dance was kind of born out of necessity because I had a problem. And as a business owner, you might be able to relate, is I was collecting fees in 2020, 2021 to produce an event in 2022. Problem is, I had to eat. So the revenue that I brought in, I had already spent. So I am now going into 2022, this event, I have little bit of cash to produce this event. And I'm like, I need to figure out a way to make more money. What can I do? And my husband, he was one that encouraged me. He was like, Menina, you've been mentoring dancers for years. Like, why don't you just create an online program? I'm like, I hate Zoom dance classes. I don't want to teach that. I don't think it's an effective way to teach a large group of people. Or I didn't enjoy that experience. He's like, well, mentor dancers on the business side. That's what you do best anyways.
Which it's called the business of dance.
So the business of dance online mentorship program, we do not teach dance. We teach the business of dance.
And that is an important delineation. So business of dance is not, you're not going to Menina and to train.
No.
This is a totally side that you found, in my opinion, this
A
niche. This little hole that was really missing. So
yes,
granted, your husband said you were doing this all along, but literally, what did you find that was really missing in the dance industry? Because I mean, I see it coming from the business side.
100%.
Speaking to a lot of these young dancers, I see they're good, but they just need this fine tuning. But was there a specific event that made you, or it was just because you were doing it so naturally anyway? It just seemed extremely natural change to move into this.
Well, the Hollywood Summer Tour, in my opinion, is the what. We show you what you need to do. We show you where everything is. The business of dance is the how-to. It's how to do it. So the problem that I saw is I'd have these parents and kids that would do the Hollywood Summer Tour. They're so inspired. They're on a high. They're like, this is great. Now what? What do we do next? How do we implement? You told us to get agents and headshots and resumes and reels and websites and casting, but how do we do this stuff?
Right.
So this is the how-to, where we spend 6 months or more. Some dancers are staying longer than 6 months, where we teach them the business side. When I say business, it's mindset training, which is really important.
Explain that, because that might mean something to different people.
Yeah, absolutely. Mental skills, you have to have the right mindset to go into this business. You can be talented, you can have all the skills, in the world, but if you don't have the right mindset to endure the hardship that is about to happen to your life, you're not going to be able to make it. Because this industry, I mean, life is hard. This industry is even harder. So you have to have the mental toughness to be able, and the resilience to be able to.
Is it as simplistic as positive energy breeds positive results? Or is it more of a mindset of being able to come up against adversity and rejection?
That part. I firmly believe that success is just a series of failures and never quitting.
I like that.
Because everyone that interview any great anything, athlete, business owner, entertainer, there is always a backstory of hardship because they're willing to do what others are not. And that is dealing with failure.
Or facing fear, because a lot
That
of
part too.
right?
That's another thing that we talk about, being able to overcome that fear. It's scary to move to a new city, or for me, a new country. It's scary to go into an audition room. It's scary to deal with rejection and over and over and over again. Now, I talked about some great moments in the beginning of my career, but there was a tons of no's as well. There was, a lot of times booking a job or getting fired from a job before you even started the job, like Britney Spears' Slave for You. I was booked on that as well, but I didn't get to do it. There was 50 dancers booked, and the director only wanted 15. So they had to release 35. And I was one of the 35. And little did I know that would be such an iconic video. And I watched that video, I'm like,
that could have been you.
And I was so excited. And I learned a lesson, a valuable lesson. Do not tell people about a job until it's done. Because I made the rookie mistake back then. I told everybody, I just did a Pepsi commercial with Britney, and now I'm going to be in her new music video. And I was on such a high, and then my heart was crushed again. Just after Christina Milian, crush. 2 months later, crush again. So there was.
It's a hard industry. I mean, you have to your point, you really talk about mindset. You have to have a thick skin too.
100%.
And I think that, people see, all these celebrities, they're making commercials, they're living the high life. It's like, that didn't just happen. I mean, for some people, I'm not going to lie, sometimes they're lucky. I mean, there is a little bit of luck that's mixed into this.
But luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
Oh, we have to highlight that one.
So with luck, so I get dancers prepared. So when an opportunity presents itself, they're able to seize it, because opportunities are everywhere. But the reason why some people appear to be lucky is because they were ready. One, they were able to be smart enough to recognize the opportunity that was there. My own business coach likes to say, there's unicorn opportunities that every once in a while come into your life. And a successful person is able to look at that unicorn opportunity and say, I'm scared. I don't know if this unicorn is a unicorn or a donkey, but I'm going to jump on that unicorn and see where it goes. And usually without risk, there's no reward. So you have to be willing to take that chance, face your fears, even if it's scary, even if there's feelings of uncertainty, because that's really when the magic happens. So when you see people's lucky, they say it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. Because there's what people don't see is the blood, sweat, and tears of, you see people, you just exploded. No, nobody just exploded. There was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears before that you didn't see.
It's foundation. It's like, I almost think about it like raising kids, right? Like when we raise our kids from little babies, like in swaddles, and then, you're kind of raising them up. You're teaching them all of the pleases. Say thank you, look at people in the eyes. Like, you're giving them all those foundational blocks. So when they are grown and flown, like my kids in college now, it's like, you've done your job.
Yes.
That takes years, 18 years. Like, and you see it. I think one of the biggest compliments I ever got, I think my kids were maybe 4 or 5 years old, and they went on a play date, and the mom came out, like when I went to pick up my kid, they were like, they have such great manners. Like, your kids have such good manners.
That didn't happen overnight.
It didn't happen overnight. And it was, what was so special about that compliment was they weren't saying please and thank you because I was there, right? Like, I gave them the foundational blocks of years so that they were actually doing it on their own. So your program, very similar in my opinion, you're creating, and the way I'm hearing it, is these foundational blocks. So when the opportunity does come, it's already built.
100%. I was just having this conversation this morning with one of my mentees from Germany who's moving to the UK. She just finished assisting Abby Lee Miller on some workshops. And the mother even complimented me. She's like, now she has all these marketing tools. She's got a website. She's got demo reels, one for acting, one for dancing, one for modeling, one for teaching. She has her social media primed and ready so that if any opportunity is presented, it's, I got my website. Oh, here's my socials. So they're, instead of scrambling when someone's like, do you have, your materials? And you're like,
yeah, give me an hour.
Give me a day and I'll figure this out.
Exactly.
But it's about being ready for those opportunities. So I educate my mentees to be ready for those opportunities.
And you show them how.
And I show them the how-to. It's a very step-by-step. We talk about mindset. We talk about headshots, resumes, how to write a biography, how to create a demo reel, how to create your own website, how to build all your social media channels, all the different elements of a Instagram page, your profile, your bio, your link, your pinned post, like all these very little micro details. It's very detailed, and I'm very hands-on with my mentees as well to create these marketing assets, how to do a self-tape audition, how to submit to agents, how to write a cover letter, how to have a professional email signature, very foundational. And then we have some bonus stuff where we do some college
Is
prep.
it classes with a bunch of people, or is this one-on-one training?
It's a hybrid model. So we do a combination of, they have the on-demand modules, which they do on their own time. And they're very short 30-minute lessons with an assignment. So every lesson comes with something applicable. It's not just theory. It's learn something, do something, learn something, do something. That's the on-demand portion. Then we have group calls with me. We have 3 types of group calls. We do twice a week. One might be a coaching call with me where I actually give career advice and I review their homework assignments. And I will literally hands-on edit their stuff. Like bringing it to a teacher and they're correcting it.
Amazing. But I think that's what's needed.
I don't just say, this is how you do it and hope you figure it out. I say, this is how you do it. Come bring it to me and let me proof it.
And what's so dynamic about what you're talking about is this is for, what are the ages that you do this for?
My youngest ever was 5.
5 years old?
5 years old, all the way to mid-30s. But I would say the bulk of my clientele are kids, teens, and young adults.
Okay. So when you're taking a look at these kids, teens, and young adults, like I obviously, my daughter, she dances at a CSU. She's going for a BFA. She has tons of friends who are also going for their BFA. And in all of these curriculums, and we did our homework as well when we were looking at a lot of these schools, I think there was only one school that had like the what's next kind of class.
Mm-hmm.
But for a majority of these schools, they are not, you might be paying $50,000 a year, $100,000 a year, $8,000 a year. I don't care how much it is. They're not telling you that. So when we talk about, return on investment, or we talk about, what is next, they may come out dancing at a higher level. They may come out with more contacts that they made because they were introduced, like if they were at NYU and they met lots of these choreographers that are doing Broadway, let's say, or they're in LA and they met lots of choreographers that might be doing something for So You Think You Could Dance or whatever. They might have been introduced to these people, but they don't have a living clue of what to do. You're talking about these cover letters. My son's at USC business, different.
It's basic business education.
It is, but they're not getting it.
But they're not getting any that, and that's another thing we're dealing with is we're dealing with college graduates where the parents thought they were paying for this. And then they're doing interviews with our talent recruiting directors. And like, yeah, my kids got their degree and they've learned all this stuff, right? And the kid's like, I didn't learn that. Like, what did I just spend $100,000 for?
500,000 or 400,000,
whatever.
It's 100,000 a year on USC.
I believe it. And if you're an international student, good luck. It's even more. So even at the collegiate level, definitely at the studio level, this is not being taught. At the collegiate level, this is not being taught. So there is a huge underserved market, in my opinion, where you see these super talented dancers. That's why I already take talented dancers that already have the skills. I'm not trying to teach them dance. They already train a cajillion hours at their home studios, and there's other training programs. I'm not trying to compete with any of that. I'm just trying to give them the tools, the life skills that they can combine that with. So it's a complement to their existing training or education.
So like a dance coach in a sense, but with business skills.
Yeah, absolutely.
The business of dance.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we do a little bit of college prep. We even have some bonus lessons like immigration for those that want to come to the U.S. and how do you get an O-1 visa? How does that work? And then taxes.
Do you help with, and I know this may be a different lane than what you actually do. So when we were applying to schools for, and I know it's not just college that you're coaching for, but when we were applying to college, we did have a person we hired to help with all the essays and navigate us through this whole entire process. Yeah. But we didn't go as far, but most of our friends did. There's a very famous advisor for dance, and she helps them with the essays and all of the artistic part to get them ready to submit for the colleges. Would you say your program adheres to that, or would you say it's really strictly more to get them ready just for the life part of this business?
So we don't help with the essay portion, but we do help them create those marketing assets that they do need to submit. So whatever criteria is for that particular school, they might have an audition tape that's required, but the additional materials that might not be expected, that really can help them stand apart. what college or high school graduate has a website and demo reels and strong social media presence? To a to admissions person, they'll look at that and go, oh, this person's gone way above and beyond. And that's what can help them stand out if they want to go the collegiate route. Same thing, those same tools are great and impressive for agents as well. I've helped a lot of my mentees get signed to major agents. I just had 2 kids just as of yesterday. MSA wants to sign them
It's so
as
phenomenal.
a result of the business of dance, because we just had our VIP day 2 days ago, which I got to tell you was incredible.
Okay, so we're gonna jump there. Tell me about what is included in this VIP day of your tour.
So I forgot to finish. Let me just go
Okay,
backtrack a little bit.
There's so much. We're unwrapping so much.
We're ranting a lot about a lot of things right now. But so the hybrid model is group coaching, live, on-demand coaching. We also have a one-on-one coaching. We have a client success manager who was a former professional dancer who does accountability calls every 2 weeks that says where you're at, what homework are you working on, what do you need help with, do you have any questions, what are your recent wins, anything you need me to escalate to Menina. We keep track of every single, we are very systematic on the back end. We know exactly what's going on with every single mentee. So she's there to hold them accountable. And then in addition, they have direct access to me for DM text messaging at any time. If they have questions, I'm there for them. If they need a quick review on their self-tape submission, whatever, I'm there for them. And we have a Facebook community as well for the dancers and the parents to be able to connect. So there's community, there's one-on-one, there's live group, and then there's on-demand. So that's the online mentorship. Now, there was something else that came about was everyone was like, I wish I could meet you in person. So that's where I was like, I need to create an in-person experience for them. So we call it the VIP day. We just had one 2 days ago. We've done now 3, 2 in LA, 1 in New York. We had Aaliyah Janelle was our first guest for the first one. Alex Wong was the New York guest. And then we just had Kelly Sweeney. But 2 days ago, so we did a photo shoot, headshots and dance shots for all the dancers. Those photos are going to be featured in PM Photography magazine, so they're going to get a 2-page feature each.
Oh my goodness,
we're doing
that's
a whole
amazing.
Business of Dance edition of the entire day is going to be in this edition. Then we shot demo reels with Justin Corbo, who's known to be like the dance videographer. He does all the viral videos with Enola. So he was our videographer for the demo reel portion, and we shot that downtown LA. Then we went to Miran K Studios, where we shot a podcast taping with consider like a live studio audience, where we had the parents and the dancers, kind of like a talk show, my mini Oprah type show.
I always say my kids are like, now they're running around. Like my mom thinks she's Oprah now with her little podcast, but I'm like, okay, I'll take it.
I always wanted my own talk show, so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna create my own.
100%. That's exactly. Like woke up one day, I'm gonna go be Oprah.
Nobody
like,
hired me, so I'm hiring myself.
That's exactly 100%.
I'm all about creating your own opportunities. New York, we had a billboard in Times Square. I was always wanted a billboard in Times Square, so we did that, which was a fun thing.
So fun.
Podcast taping with Kelly Sweeney. She was our guest of the day. And then right after that, they did a dance class with her. And then we brought in the agents again to be able to watch them and scout them. And the agents initially told me just have the ones that are really serious about LA representation to submit after this call. Well, MSA didn't even, they just moved really quickly. And right away, they snatched 2 of my kids. They were like, we want to sign those too. And I was like, great. And they already had reached out to them. They were sending me messages yesterday like, oh my God, Menina, look what happened.
That's
so
fabulous.
Because they got in the room and one of them actually submitted virtually and didn't get any response. So just being in the physical room like that in an intimate setting with just 20 dancers, when are you ever going to be seen by agents with just 20 dancers in the room?
No, and it's very hard to get. I think it's easier when you're younger to get a dance agent than when you're older. It's a whole other ball game when you're older. So when you're younger and your kid dances, if you could grab the agent then they go on. My daughter's
they're only 10 and 11. They're prime kid working age. So in addition to that, we rented a party bus, and then we went to Boa Steakhouse in West Hollywood and had a very swanky private dinner. And the cherry on top was Snoop Dogg came into the restaurant.
Stop it.
So the parents and the kids were freaking out. They're like, we met Snoop Dogg. And I didn't meet him, but
I would have invited him on the podcast, and he probably would have come.
Well, he did tell them that he was going to come to the room, but security blocked it, I think, and it didn't end up happening. But a few of them did meet him. So that was the cherry on top. And
so this Hollywood tour, how much is this?
There's different packages. starting at $4,000 for a week or $5,000 for 2 weeks, and then there's different fees for family members, non-dancers,
So it's an extra $1,000 to have the 2 weeks versus
Correct.
the 1 week. I would totally do the 2 weeks. And then is this including this dinner and food, or is that all separate? Or
So the VIP day is totally separate from the Hollywood Summer Tour.
Okay.
That's a totally separate thing, and you have to be a Business of Dance mentee, an active mentee, to go to VIP day.
and then how much is VIP day?
So right now we're at $2,000 for the dancer to come for the day, but that includes everything that we talked about.
Understood.
But the other cherry on top that happened is Lola Nelms, one of my 11-year-old mentees. She's starting in her own reality show that just premiered in July. So when I found out about it, I was like, "Do you want to do an episode at VIP Day? I'm happy to have your camera crew here." She's like, "Really? Would you?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." I'm like, "There's so much content happening that day. It would be great for your show." And I connected with the producers, told them what I was doing. They're like, "Oh my gosh, we want to create a whole episode on VIP Day." So while we were doing all of these amazing things, we had a reality show camera crew following us around the city.
Okay, that is super freaking cool.
So now all my mentees are going to be on a reality show on top of that. So another line on their resume, another credit, And the cool part of, I'm probably going to give it away, and I shouldn't be giving it away. But the whole arc of the story is Lola's going to Hollywood to look for a dance agent.
Fantastic. I mean,
you just got to watch the episode to see what happens next.
Exactly, which will be the little teaser we could use, right? But that's actually, I mean, it's brilliant, and it's opening up so many doors for kids and adults as well, like really sharing because that question drives me nuts. I did a whole episode on what's next, the eye roll, all of these parents spending so much money, whether it's on dance or conventions or
college
competitions, the dance clothes, the sweat, like all of it, right? It is so much money, and I say it all the time. And then even when I was moving my daughter in a year ago to school, we went out to dinner with the parents of her roommates then, and the father, nice guy, but he says to me, "I got to ask you a question." And I'm like, "Okay, dance. Like, you're spending all this money to have her major in dance? Like, what is she going to do with it?"
100%. And that is something that I'm
Drives me
really
crazy.
trying to change the narrative on that, because there's this assumption that being a dancer, starving artist might, that it's a short-lived career. You can only dance for a few years. You need a backup plan. You need a plan
Plan B, C, and D.
And D and all the things. And I have this conversation all the time. And I say that if you plan for plan B, what do you think you're going to get? Plan B.
Right. You have to reach for the start.
Does a doctor go to medical school because he wants to be an accountant?
No.
No, he goes to medical school to become a doctor. So why are you studying another subject that you don't even really truly want, but then you say you want to be over here? It's counterproductive.
Right. Like that backup, my daughter actually is picking up communications just because she actually loves it, and because she's an actress, it will help her. It's different.
That could go into entertainment. Marketing,
different.
Communications, business.
Sociology, even, because it's a study of society and people. So if you learn about people,
certain
it'll help
subjects can merge well and complement dance entirely. But I have mentees that are like, "I'm going to nursing school." I'm like, "Great. How's that going to work with your dance career?" "Well, that's just my backup plan."
No.
And I'm
No.
like, let's just say if dance doesn't work out for you, you can always kickball change and pivot into something else. But why don't you focus on the thing that you actually want to do? An NFL player is studying and training and eat and breathe and sleep football to become an NFL player.
It's Eye of the Tiger. It's the Rocky story. I mean,
yes,
it really
you have
is.
to be like the blinders on, like a horse race, where you just stay focused on what you want. An Olympian. Do you think an Olympian is going to be a gold medalist if they're training a couple hours a week?
And an Olympian, I mean, they eat, live, breathe, sleep since they were a young age, and it's
for that one moment.
And sometimes it's, what is it, like a 2-second routine, 2-minute routine? I mean,
and sometimes
it's
that's
their whole life is down to, that apparatus.
So how is
dance?
How should that be treated any different?
I couldn't agree with you more.
If you want this as a career, focus in it. I do believe in investing in your craft. I do believe that you should invest in yourself, and you are your best investment. I've invested thousands of dollars in business coaches. That is why I'm successful, because the fast track to success is mentorship and coaching. You find someone that's 10 steps ahead of you that has already done the thing that you want to do. This is a life lesson. This is not a dance lesson. and you learn from their mistakes and you learn from their successes, you will fast track your success.
Which is why I'm actually doing the podcast, because the whole theme of it is if I only knew then what I know now, right? It's taking those lessons, and I don't claim to say I know everything. I can only talk based on my experiences.
Of course.
But when you talk based on it's choreography actually. When you go and you dance with a choreographer, they're teaching you this incredible choreography, but it only becomes yours when you make it your own.
100%.
And a choreographer is going to call out that person that took their choreography and brought it to the next level when they make it their own. And I think that that's the beauty, that's the magic of dance. That's like what it's all about. And I feel that, to your other point, if you're not investing in yourself, without learning, there is no growth. And if you become
growth is uncomfortable.
And if you become stagnated in what you do, you're going to fail. I hate to say it, but the bus will leave the station. I mean, we all know AI is out there right now.
And I'm teaching that also in my program as well.
In which way?
How to leverage AI for your dance career.
And give me one example of how you would do that.
There's so many ways. You want to research what school you want to go to? You can tell ChatGPT what I want to live in let's say a warmer climate. I want to major in X degree. I want to know what are the best, highest rated program. Maybe I want to be on a dance team. Whatever it is what your specs are, show me all the schools that fit this criteria. Then you look up the schools, and then you say, find the contact person that I need to reach out to, the email, the phone number, the website, and the Instagram handle of the program that I'm looking for. Bring all the contact lists. I can do that in like 2 minutes.
We have a bot that we use. We've named her Glitta to go with Rhinestones and Rants. And Glitta is the best. I want to put her on my website as part of my team because there's nobody better than Glitta. Yeah. And she, these bots, they get to know you. And I don't think that a lot of people, they're so afraid of AI. About 4 years ago,
there is a fear behind it.
I work in technology as a real job. This is not my only thing that I do. And I run sales organizations prior, and now I help enablement for salespeople. I enable the salespeople to be able to go out and make themselves better, faster, stronger. In order to do that, one, it's all through relationships, but it's that consistent. How do you stay fresh? It's no different in dance, right? I knew 4 years ago, because I work in technology, AI was coming out. And I was like, okay, I'm not letting that. I knew this bus was going to leave the station. It's gone. It's there.
The AI is a very touchy subject for the entertainment world because it does put a threat on camera talent. And I understand and respect that wholeheartedly. However, when it comes to the business, AI is completely revolutionized.
Your best friend.
ChatGPT and I, we have a daily relationship. We talk every day. She's my life coach. She's my business coach. She's my
I have a friend who just told me that her daughter, it's her
my
therapist.
Copywriter.
It's her therapist. She actually says, my boyfriend did la, 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 and I'm really upset. I don't know how to respond. And ChatGPT is actually acting as her therapist. Well, this is what he's probably really thinking. And it's down to, instead of to run away from it, embrace it, because it's
happening. It's here. It's now.
Done.
It's just like the .com era. There were so many people that resisted. Oh, I'm not going to have a website. I'm not going to be on the internet. I don't want to be. And then it was social media. That was another resistance. Oh, I don't want to put myself out there. I want to maintain my privacy and stay anonymous. If you're not building a personal brand these days, you're missing the boat. Same thing with AI. AI is here and now. You better learn it. You better embrace it. You better use it to your advantage as long as you're not harming others. And I think
not harming and not necessarily making yourself sound like a bot, but bringing out your own authentic self through it.
Yeah, you can train it.
You can train it. And you could be, mine speaks to me in my language. We've trained it, I like the British accent, so mine speaks to me in British. But you could really, train it. And it does, it's remarkable. It'll find you a song for choreography.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's the best.
I helped one of my mentees. She's like, I haven't quite decided what I want to do for my solo. I'm like, well, let's just ask ChatGPT. What kind of song do you want? What kind of story do you want? What's the theme that you want? And then
you can ask what costume, and it actually gives you links.
Sure.
It's really.
It could create imagery. You can also say, create a photo. I want to create a costume that has this kind of rhinestones with this color and this leotard, unitard, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Can you mock up something for me? And it'll create
And then you go to the costume person and you say, make this. It's just.
Yeah. So there's so many intelligent, efficient, mind-blowing. It's allowed our productivity. Now I think of gosh, how did I operate my business without it?
I can't even breathe without it at this point.
Because I created all my on-demand lessons from scratch. I thought Canva was cool.
Yeah, we've literally like gone to the next level, and every day I'm like so fascinated by everything that we can
Yeah,
get
there's
done now.
so many. It's not even just ChatGPT. I thankfully have a business coach who specializes in AI. So I've been learning the last couple of years all these incredible tools, and even just in my business operations, so much of it is automated. And I mean, it's here, it's now, it's the wave of the future, and dancers can still learn how to embrace it without compromising, their talent. And I think that's the biggest fear is people are scared that they're like, this is going to be used without their permission, or that they're going to lose jobs because productions are going to just use AI
Yeah, I
and
mean
all
the
that.
same thing with the writer's strike. I mean this is a
Yes,
real
I
thing
understand.
because
But here's a fun fact: it's not that AI is going to replace your job; it's people that know how to use AI that will replace your job.
it's true.
So you better learn how to use it, because that will keep you as an asset to a company. All my entire team, I've taught them how to use all these AI tools. And if somebody came to me with those tools already, I'd be like, great, you're hired. But if you come to me with nothing, let's say 5 years from now, if you don't know this stuff, it could cost you a job.
Oh, it's costing people a lot of jobs at this point. I mean,
Yeah.
I was actually recently talking to a company about a job, and it wasn't like I was necessarily so serious about this job, but we were talking and they said, you just blew out the whole competition. Why? Because I can talk to AI. And the other, I didn't even know I had competition. It wasn't that we weren't at that point, but I can speak to AI very well, enough to be dangerous. Am I fully there yet? No, but I've been at it for 4 years. So if you don't continue this, and everybody, it's really about, it's in every occupation, but for your dancer, all of the things that you're talking about, the business of dance, the Hollywood tour. I mean, the Hollywood tour is just fun. I mean, to me, it's just
It's
like
my
a fun
favorite
summer
event.
vacation.
It's my favorite event of the year. I mean, and everybody that comes to it is like, this is way more than I expected. You know, because it is like a vacation, but also dance education, and then they get the taste of what it could be like if they actually
which is an
dance
arm to your
professionally.
dance education, right? So for everybody that's listening, if you have like whether your kid is about to go to school and you just need that guidance or that coach, it's no different than hiring a college counselor to help your kid get into college.
Yeah.
This is another avenue to
Yep.
explore, and I wish I even knew about it years ago when my kid was coming up. Like, there's a lot of things I can teach from the business side, how to interview, because she's an actress. She's been slating forever. Headshots we have, website we have. There's a lot of things on that avenue. But there's a lot of the innuendos that you were talking about that you teach that, no, I can't teach her. And I don't know. And you only, for all of you out there, you only know what you know. So I'm assuming that if people came to you and they say that they were looking for this specific thing, you could craft into whether it's a session, a personal session, like you do offer other things along that as well.
Well,
right?
they still get the one-on-one access to me. So if there's something that we don't already teach within the program and they need extra support in, I can provide that.
Okay.
And then there's a lot of personalization, so it's not a cookie cutter program. We have some basic fundamental basics that everybody does need to know, which is the on-demand portion. But then as new things are coming up on our live group coaching calls, we're talking about it. You know, if there's a new trend or a new tool that I just learned, I'm going to teach it to them live and in person over Zoom. So they're always staying ahead of the cutting edge. And the one thing I will say too is with AI, nothing will replace connection, human connection. AI will never be able to replace that. What I also think is an asset is relationships and connections. And you can't force AI to have a relationship with someone. Like, it just doesn't work. And then for us too is accountability. You know, having someone in your corner every 2 weeks, checking in on you, seeing how you're doing, making sure you're actually getting the things done. Because a lot of dancers, they all know the what. People already know you need headshots, resumes, da 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 da. That's great, but are you actually getting it done? Is someone holding you accountable to get it done? And are you getting it done in less than 6 months?
Yeah.
Because some people are like, yeah, I'll get to it next week, next month, next year. Years go by, and it's, yeah, I was supposed to do this thing, but there's nobody holding you accountable. So accountability, I think really where the magic is, the accountability, the support, and the connections. Because I also, which I didn't even really talk about, I bring in guests every week. So I've interviewed over 100 guests, agents, casting directors, dance influencers.
Which they can find on your website.
On the podcast. So those interviews have been repurposed as podcast episodes. So they're on the Business of Dance podcast. Anyone from Brian Friedman, Alex Wong, Stacey Tukey, Kameet Bahar, Anita Mann, Vincent Patterson, Jamal Sims, Aaliyah Janelle, now Kelly Sweeney, and anyways, the list goes on and on and on. And not just Americans,
This is
also
why I said
Canadians.
she's so impressive to me. Like literally, wow. Like it's so, and I don't say that freely, but it's like you have created this empire of an extension of what's so needed. Like I love finding niches. There weren't a lot of dance podcasts out there specifically, and
Yeah, there's not many of
especially
us.
what I wanted to do. And I just wanted to kind of give back to an industry that's been so phenomenal to not only my daughter, to my family. It's really been a part of who we are since she was very little. And I'm like, wow, with you, because
Thank you.
you do it from a place of, I never look at a hole as a problem. I look at it as an opportunity. And you basically took this hole that most people would say it's a problem in the industry, but you took it and you changed it into how to create
Solution.
opportunities and make that solution. And that is what my whole mantra is about. So that's why I think I'm just obsessed with everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
So what's next? I know we're finishing up now. So what's next for you?
Well, something that I haven't shared much publicly at all yet is I just recently got cast for a show called Legacy Makers.
Oh my goodness. Congratulations.
Thank you. And it's featuring very influential entrepreneurs, athletes, entertainers, celebrities. And to my awareness, I'm the only dance professional that's being featured, and they're doing a whole episode on my story, on my journey.
Love this. And we have her here. Rhinestones and Rants. I feel like a celebrity now.
And I'm amongst incredible people: Carmen Electra, Les Brown,
Carmen Electra, my
Tim
goodness.
Story, Floyd Mayweather, Russell Brunson, like some big names. So and they have an episode and I get an episode. So I filmed that in Miami in September. I don't know.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I don't know when it's going to be released, but I'm really, really excited about that. And even just the past couple of years, I haven't talked about the media. I'm working with an incredible publicist that's gotten me featured in over 400 media outlets. I'm in Forbes. I'm in Success Magazine. I've done interviews on TV shows on ABC, NBC, Fox, Global News, CTV News, and then a ton of other publications, Inside Dance Magazine, etc. So, a lot of media. We're making a lot of noise. We're breaking a lot of boundaries. We're making a lot of dreams come true. So many of my mentees, I even talked about their wins. I've got kids, well, I can't say kids, young adults that just did the Super Bowl with Kendrick Lamar. I had 2. I had 13 that did Super Bowl with Usher last year. I had 1 that did Rihanna Super Bowl reality show.
Funny, my daughter was in a Super Bowl commercial this year. So
I love it. Congrats.
Yeah, so thank you.
And cruise ships. I have 2 kids, or 18. I keep saying kids. 2 18-year-olds.
They're still kids.
they're
always
kids to me. They're my
yes.
kids. 18-year-olds. First audition, both of them. First professional audition, Royal Caribbean Cruises contracts. One of them's already at sea. So they're booking jobs. They're getting signed by major agencies, Block, MSA, GTA, CTG, DaCosta, Premier, all of, they're living out their dreams. And ultimately, that's my goal, is I really want to educate and empower the next generation of dancers so that they can monetize their passion to be able to have their dream career and have that longevity as well, and not just be some short-lived career that everybody assumes that it's going to be. And I'm hoping that I can lead by example, from all the trials and tribulations, the $500 a month, to now building a 7-figure business. So if I can do it as the 3rd place dancer, I was not the top dancer growing up either as a comp kid. If I can do it, I want to say that they can do it too.
Well, thank you so much, Menina, for being here. I so appreciate it. I loved our time together. And thank you also so much for adding so much value. When you look at this dance world, and I hope everybody got like nuggets you could use out of this episode, but what's next is always the question. Whether you go to college, whether you don't, whether you graduate high school, what Menina is doing is a testament to what passion can lead down the road and what you could explore and turn that into gold. So thank you, everyone, for listening. And until next time, keep shining. Never let anyone dull your sparkle. And see you on the next episode.
Don't let anybody treat you like regular glue, because you're glitter glue. You sparkle, you shine. Get it, girl, get it, friend.